My name is Laura Ingalls, and I was born in 1867, the pioneer days of America. I was born in a log cabin in Wisconsin. In this era, children were to be seen and not to be heard. I became famous for a series of books that became a popular TV show too. The books are based on my life. Although some of the stories in the books did not happen exactly the place and time the books said, all those things did happen to me and my family. I think my real biography is even more interesting than the books. This was also a time when America was a land of dense forests and wide open prairies. I spent a great deal of my childhood in a covered wagon traveling to different lands. For instance, we moved from Wisconsin to Kansas. My pa located a nice piece of land, and we all built a log cabin. I often saw Indians near our home. We did not know that we'd settled on the Osage Indians' land, and the government told us we'd have to move. We didn't even live on the prairie for a year. Once more I was in the covered wagon with Ma, Pa, Mary, and my new baby sister Carrie. We returned to Wisconsin. I worked hard, churning butter, sewing quilts, washing dishes, and sweeping the log cabin's floor. At night my pa played his fiddle. Sometimes I heard wolves outside, but Pa and Jack would keep us safe. On my 7th birthday, we packed the wagon and moved to the prairies of Minnesota. We found a farm near Plum Creek, and Pa planted a field of wheat. I went to school in Walnut Grove with my sister Mary. I learned to love reading and writing. One day the grasshoppers came and ate the entire wheat crop, so Pa had to leave us to go find work. I could not go to school because the ground was covered with grasshoppers. Pa was gone a long time, and when he returned, he said, "We're going to move. Again." We headed for Iowa to help run a hotel. The hotel was a bustling place. I helped my mom by washing dishes. We all missed the prairie. So we went back to Minnesota, and Pa worked in a general store. When I was 12, my sister Mary became blind. My pa asked me to be Mary's eyes for her. On the way to Dakota Territory, I told Mary about the train cars and the men building the railroad. During the summer, we lived in a homestead, but in the winter we lived in town so Carrie and I could walk to school. At night, I repeated my lessons to Mary. Mary wanted to go to the College for the Blind in Iowa. When I was 15, I became a teacher. I lived with a family near the school, and on the weekends, a boy from town named Almanza would take me to my parents' house. When school ended, I'd earned $40 to help Mary go to the School for the Blind. Almanza took me to ice cream socials and church parties. On one of the rides, Almanza asked me to marry him. We were married when I was 18. I was now a homesteader's wife. I had a daughter 2 years later, and we named her Rose. Our second child died soon after he was born, and then our little gray house burned down. Almanza, Rose, and I traveled south by train to Florida, thinking it'd be nice, but it was too hot. We did not stay long and returned to Minnesota. Then my family and I moved to Missouri in 1894. The trip took 45 days. When we reached Missouri, my husband and I bought a farm. I cooked for the railroad men to earn money, and my husband delivered oils and stove gas. Our daughter Rose eventually moved to San Francisco to become a journalist. After retiring from farming, I began to write novels for children to read. The first book I wrote was called Little House in the Big Woods. My husband died in 1949. I spent those remaining years with friends and children from nearby schools.